You won't believe what this Morgan dollar is worth today. One coin collector's mistake turned into a jackpot. Watch to see if you have one 2HD old coins 51. Top 1. In the shadowed corners of American numismatics, there exists a coin shrouded in mystery, allure, and collector controversy, the 1974 Morgan dollar. At first glance, it appears like a ghost from the past, a silver coin bearing the time-honored Liberty head, encircled by the name of a nation, a familiar eagle spread across its reverse, and the date, 1974, boldly pressed where none should be. To the untrained eye, it's just another coin. But to seasoned collectors, it's a whisper from a parallel timeline. There never was a Morgan dollar minted in 1974, at least not by the official U.S. Mint. The Morgan series had been long buried, officially ending in 1921 when it passed the torch to the peace dollar. And yet, there it lies, sometimes in velvet-lined boxes, sometimes in online listings and auctions, bearing a date that shouldn't exist. How did it get here? Who made it? And why are collectors paying hundreds, sometimes thousands, for it? The story begins with the design itself, a classic. George T. Morgan's Liberty, bold and youthful, her Phrygian cap nestled in flowing hair, crowned with a ribbon inscribed Liberty and surrounded by stars and mottos. It's a design that lived through wars, economic shifts, and the transformation of America from rural roots to industrial titan. The eagle on the reverse holds arrows and an olive branch, symbolic of peace through strength. A powerful design, now echoing in a date foreign to its legacy. The 1974 Morgan dollar is often linked not to history, but to imagination. Private mints, capitalizing on nostalgia and collector demand, struck these coins in homage. Some were silver-plated, others solid silver, and a few even in gold. Many were sold through catalogs, late-night television offers, and even state fair booths. They were often advertised as limited edition tributes or what-if fantasy issues, never meant to deceive, but to captivate. Some came encased in plastic slabs with certificates of authenticity that told stories of their commemorative origin. But as years passed, the origin stories faded and mystery took their place. The lines between official minting and private novelty blurred, especially for new collectors. Suddenly, these coins were showing up in estate sales, pawn shops, and eBay listings, occasionally misrepresented as rare errors or government prototype strikes. The myth grew. One of the most legendary moments in the coin's shadowy history occurred at an auction in Dallas, Texas in 2019. There, amid a mix of classic U.S. coins, a pristine 1974 Morgan dollar fantasy piece, struck in .999 fine silver and graded PR70 by a private grading firm, fetched an astounding $1,050. Bidding began modestly, but quickly escalated, driven by collector intrigue and the pristine craftsmanship of the piece. The winner? An anonymous buyer with a well-known reputation for acquiring unique, non-circulating coinage. That moment lit a fire. Within weeks, online searches for 1974 Morgan dollar surged. Listings on collectible sites quadrupled. Prices followed. What once sold for $19.95 as a novelty now commanded hundreds depending on condition, silver content, and minting origin. One especially striking proof-like example, produced by a private Colorado mint in the early 80s, recently sold on heritage auctions for over $700. But not every 1974 Morgan is created equal. Some are basic copper-nickel alloys with a silver finish, dull in luster, and poorly struck. Others are artistic masterpieces, crafted with precision, proof-like mirrors, and detailed relief. These latter examples, often limited to runs of 1,000 or fewer, are what serious collectors seek. Rarity meets beauty. And even though they aren't legal tender, their desirability is very real. There's also something intangible at play, the pull of what could have been. Imagine if the Morgan series had been resurrected in 1974, an echo of America's centennial spirit carried into the modern age. That fantasy, wrapped in silver, is part of what makes the 1974 Morgan dollar so attractive. It's not just metal, it's imagination minted. Collectors today often find themselves divided. Purists dismiss the 1974 Morgan as a gimmick, non-canon, non-historical. But others, especially those who collect exonumia or fantasy coinage, see it as a legitimate expression of numismatic creativity. The same way Civil War tokens or commemorative casino chips find a place in niche collections, so too does this phantom coin. And as always in the world of coins, perception drives price. At a recent coin show in Chicago, a dealer proudly displayed three versions of the 1974 Morgan dollar, one silver-plated, one in high-relief bronze, and one solid silver-proof. Prices ranged from $95 to $450. Within hours, all three were sold. The buyers weren't fooled. They knew exactly what they were getting. But they valued the artistry, the story, and yes, the potential investment. After all, as fewer of these pieces survive in good condition, scarcity naturally inflates interest. And then there are the ultra-rare variants, pieces struck in error by private mints, or prototypes never officially released. One rumored example, allegedly struck with a reverse die from a 1921 Morgan and an obverse marked 1974, surfaced briefly in an online auction and was pulled before bidding closed. Some say it was sold privately for over $2,000. Others claim it never existed at all. But again, the legend feeds the market. So, is the 1974 Morgan dollar real? Technically, no. Legally, no. But emotionally and financially? Absolutely. It exists in the liminal space between official history and collector fantasy. It captures the spirit of American coinage, the art, the ambition, and the endless chase for something rare, something forgotten, something mysterious. And in doing so, it holds real value, not just in silver weight or rarity, but in story. Today, collectors who stumble upon a 1974 Morgan dollar might laugh, frown, or lean in with curiosity, but none walk away unaffected. That's the power of myth and metal. And as long as stories live on in the numismatic world, the 1974 Morgan dollar will continue to whisper through auction halls, eBay listings, and velvet coin trays, offering a silvered glimpse into what never was, but always could have been. Top 2. The coin sat glimmering under the auction lights, its surfaces catching the gleam like moonlight on a calm lake. To the untrained eye, it may have seemed like just another silver dollar. But to the numismatist, the whispers about this piece had already made their way across the world. The 1977 Morgan dollar. A coin that, by all accounts, should not exist. Collectors leaned forward in their seats. The room was silent save for the soft rustle of bidding paddles and the faint clicking of pins. Heritage auctions in Dallas, Texas, had drawn in an elite crowd, wealthy enthusiasts, museum representatives, and a few private investors who had flown in just for this event. The room buzzed with an electric kind of curiosity. The estimate on the piece? A staggering $475,000. But that was only the beginning. The auctioneer raised his gavel. Lot 3097, the legendary 1977 Morgan dollar, certified silver, uncirculated, NGC-graded PF68 Ultra Cameo. Opening bid, $250,000. The room froze for a moment. And then bang. The first bid flew in from the center. To understand why this coin caused such a stir, one must travel back through time, not to 1977, but to the twilight of the 19th century, when George T. Morgan, a young British engraver fresh to American shores, first put his chisel to steel. The Morgan dollar had always stood as a symbol of robust American ambition. Its bold Lady Liberty profile, unlike the classical Roman-style depictions of the past, wore a Phrygian cap adorned with cotton and wheat, distinctly American. The reverse, with its spread-winged eagle clutching arrows and olive branches, embodied both might and peace. From 1878 to 1904, and again briefly in 1921, Morgan dollars flowed from the presses of the Philadelphia, San Francisco, Carson City, New Orleans, and Denver mints. But in 1977, nothing. The Eisenhower dollar ruled that era. No Morgan dies were in use. No mint officials had ever announced a commemorative. And yet, here it was. This mysterious 1977 Morgan dollar was not a fantasy piece in the typical sense. It bore astonishing craftsmanship, and metallurgical analysis revealed 0.900 fine silver, just like the originals. Experts debated whether a rogue mint employee had somehow used old dies and modern blanks, or if it had been struck clandestinely in a private facility with access to forgotten tools. Rumors hinted at a retired engraver who had once worked in Philadelphia and possessed extraordinary skill. The story of its discovery is equally compelling. A retired coin dealer in Nevada had found it among a box of unsorted estate pieces, apparently tucked away since the early 1980s. At first, it was dismissed as a clever fake. But under intense scrutiny, microscopic dye diagnostics, laser metallurgical testing, and historical trace analysis, it passed nearly every authenticity benchmark. It didn't just resemble a Morgan dollar. It was one, or as close as anyone had seen. By 2022, the numismatic world could no longer ignore it. PCGS declined to certify it as a legitimate mint product, citing the lack of archival records. But NGC, under a special fantasy and unauthorized strikes label, graded it and described it as a unique specimen of unknown origin, likely 1970s. That label only added to the mystery. And mystery, in the world of rare coins, is a potent fuel for value. In the weeks leading to the auction, online forums lit up with speculation. Some thought it was part of a secret test strike for a commemorative issue that never came to fruition. Others believed it was minted in Mexico, possibly by craftsmen connected to the notorious restrike operations of the mid-20th century. A few die-hard collectors believed it was minted by George Morgan's grandson, a talented engraver who, they claimed, had access to original hubs. Whatever the truth, the coin became legend before it ever hit the auction floor. Back in the auction room, the bids were climbing fast. $275,000. $300,000. $350,000. This is not just a coin, the auctioneer declared. This is a ghost from American history, a phantom Morgan that whispers a different story. The final bid came in at $612,000. The room erupted in applause. The gavel struck wood, and the legend of the 1977 Morgan dollar was sealed. The winning bidder, anonymous, reportedly sent it to his Swiss vault for insurance and preservation. Rumors later circulated that a museum in New York had made an offer over $750,000, refused. Since that day, only one other piece has surfaced, rumored to be from the same die pair. But it has not been graded, nor has it been seen by the public. What makes the 1977 Morgan dollar so seductive isn't just its rarity. It's the question it raises. What if history had taken a different path? What if the Morgan series had continued beyond 1921? What if in 1977, during the Cold War, in a nation grappling with inflation, the mint had chosen to resurrect a symbol of enduring strength and classic American identity? Collectors chase these coins not just for silver and shine. They chase them for the stories, true or imagined, that stir the heart. In the world of numismatics, every coin is a time capsule. But some, like this one, are riddles too. They are questions cast in metal, mysteries no catalog can explain, and that's what makes them priceless. Top 3. The story of the 1978 Morgan dollar is more mysterious than most collectors ever imagine. Picture this. You're holding a silver coin that shouldn't even exist. The classic Morgan dollar series officially ended in 1921, making any piece dated 1978 an anomaly. Yet, rumors continue to circulate. Whispers travel across coin fairs and auctions, and deep-pocketed collectors with a hunger for exclusivity chase what might be one of the rarest, most mythical silver dollars in American numismatics. Is it a misstrike? A private mint fantasy piece? Or something even more alluring? A government test strike never meant to reach the public? To understand the weight behind this tale, we need to rewind the clock, back to the roots of American silver coinage, back to the very creation of the Morgan dollar itself. Originally minted from 1878 to 1904 and revived briefly in 1921, the Morgan dollar was named after its designer, George T. Morgan, a gifted engraver from England who brought his sharp artistic sensibility to the U.S. Mint. These coins became icons of America's Gilded Age, heavy with silver from the Comstock lode and minted in massive numbers to satisfy both economic needs and political pressures from silver mining states. But after 1921, the Morgan dollar vanished, replaced by the peace dollar. For more than half a century, the Morgan was silent, until collectors began whispering about a strange anomaly. Coins minted or struck bearing the Morgan design with the year 1978. How could that be? 1978 was the last year of the Eisenhower dollar series, and the Susan B. Anthony dollar wouldn't appear until 1979. So where does this mysterious Morgan dollar dated 1978 fit in? Some say it began with private mints. In the mid to late 1970s, various private companies began producing replica Morgan dollars for collectors. These coins bore dates beyond the original series, 1977, 1978, and even 1980. Crafted in silver and sometimes even gold-plated, these replicas stirred excitement and confusion. A few were struck so precisely, so magnificently, that they fooled even seasoned collectors. Were they errors? Mint experiments? Smuggled test pieces? The truth blurred. Others believe a small number of fantasy strikes were created by authorized private minters working under legal loopholes. Some companies had acquired old Morgan dollar dies or created perfect facsimiles. They struck coins not to deceive, but to commemorate or attract attention. Among these, the 1978 Morgan dollar gained notoriety, its date acting like a magnet for intrigue. After all, who wouldn't want to own a coin that bridges nearly 60 years of numismatic silence? The coin's design is pure Morgan. The Lady Liberty on the obverse, with soft curls tumbling beneath a cap adorned with cotton and wheat, a nod to American agriculture and industry. On the reverse, the proud eagle with outstretched wings grips arrows and an olive branch, surrounded by the words United States of America and $1. Every line, every feather, every fold of drapery speaks to the craftsmanship of a bygone age, revived in a time it shouldn't have existed. The 1978 Morgan dollar has sparked fierce debates among collectors. Some dismiss it as a fantasy piece, with no official U.S. Mint origin. Others see it as a modern relic, a conversation starter, a gateway to deeper collecting. But one thing is certain: its scarcity has made it a treasure in the eyes of those who covet the unusual, the misunderstood, the rare. And where there's rarity, there's value. At auction houses across the U.S., collectors have shelled out hundreds, and sometimes thousands, of dollars for pristine examples of the 1978 Morgan dollar. In 2023, at a specialized auction in Dallas hosted by Heritage Auctions, one silver-plated 1978 Morgan fantasy piece with exceptional detail sold for $2,600. The buyer? A collector from California who claimed it completed a decades-long hunt. Another privately struck 1978 Morgan dollar, crafted in .999 fine silver with proof-like surfaces, sold for $3,150 in a New York City numismatic show, sparking a bidding war among four determined collectors. But perhaps the most shocking sale occurred in early 2024 at an exclusive coin collector summit in Las Vegas. A gold-plated 1978 Morgan dollar, produced by a now-defunct private mint in the late 1970s, fetched an eye-watering $7,500. Though not official U.S. Mint products, these pieces hold immense appeal for advanced collectors hungry for rarity, story, and the thrill of the chase. The allure of the 1978 Morgan dollar is not rooted in what is known, but in what remains shrouded. It's the kind of coin that makes collectors question the boundaries of the hobby. Is it art? Is it history? Is it a puzzle left behind for the ambitious few? With every year that passes, demand only grows. Supply remains fixed. These pieces weren't mass-produced, and many were lost, melted down, or hoarded. Finding one today is like catching lightning in a bottle. The greed and desire surrounding this coin have made it one of the most talked about silver dollars in recent years. Forums buzz with speculation. Dealers field endless inquiries. And when one appears on the market, it doesn't last long. The coin's mystery drives its value more than its metal. It's not just silver. It's the silver story of the century. And for you, the collector watching this video right now, imagine the power of owning a piece of numismatic folklore. Imagine being the one who says, "Yes, I have the 1978 Morgan dollar," while others scramble to verify its existence. Imagine the bragging rights, the envy, the legacy. Because in this game, it's not just about coins. It's about the hunt, the history, and the hold it has over us. As we continue in this deep dive, we'll unravel even more about the strange journey of this enigmatic coin. Who made it? How many survive? What materials were used? And how it's positioned in the future of elite collections. So don't blink. This is only the beginning.